Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at things people cannot explain. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. A tree fell in front of us while we were driving. It almost killed us. Moments later, a group of men dressed in nice clothes just happened to have chainsaws in their car that was black and black tinted windows. They started cutting up the tree. We quickly turned around and said, nope. I tried to tell myself that it was just Mormons who happened to have chainsaws in the back of their car. I called my mum the other day to see if she still remembers that incident, and she still does. Right, so are they saying the people that got out of the car with chainsaws had bad intentions? Because I was actually thinking, how nice of them to start cutting up the tree. No? Did they intentionally? Oh, maybe they were the ones who cut the tree and they wanted to stop the car and do something. That's why they had chainsaws. Damn, I just trust people too easily, man, honestly. Like, if that happened to me and then I saw people doing that, I'd be like, oh, that's so nice of you. 14 years old, pretending to sleep at a friend's house and instead walking around the city at around 3 a.m. and suddenly for about 2 to 3 minutes, it's bright as day across the whole city. I could clearly see mountains probably 5 miles away and then poof, back to dark. There was no obvious source of the light. That was around 35 years ago. Still have no clue what it was. Wait, isn't this just one of those things that, like, you know, like, hit Earth every now and then? What the heck is that called again? I mean, like, as long as it's not a big one, it's fine, right? I fly helicopters for a living. I was working on a power line one year and was going back to our landing zone and noticed an opening in the trees, what appeared to be a leg. I came back and tried to get as low as I could into the clearing, thinking it was a person. It was a full-grown cow that had been completely skinned. There were no farms around and the animal didn't appear to be cut up in any way. I went back to the landing zone and picked up one of my ground crew members and flew back with him just so he could verify that I wasn't crazy. The flight back, we were both kind of in awe because we have no idea how that animal got to where it's at. Even more so that it had no skin on its entire body. So someone skinned the cow. That's not very nice. There's nothing else I can say about this, man. Like, what the heck? What happened? Why would they just skin the cow? Like, they didn't even need the cow for food. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're hungry and you needed food and that's the only way to get food, then okay. But, like, seriously? You just skinned the cow and let it to die? Like, you just wasted its life like that. A voice sounding like my friend's sister calling out his name from a tree line in a park. Me and friend were walking home near the middle of the night. Both of us heard it. He was called out 3 times. So it wasn't his sister? Why does this always happen though? Like, you always hear about stories about people saying like, oh yeah, I heard my mum call me from upstairs, but then she was downstairs. So who was it upstairs? What happens if they follow the voice? You know? Like, I want to know what happens, because every single time it's always, oh yeah, luckily I didn't go up there, or luckily I didn't go near the voice because I realized it wasn't them. What happens if you do go near there? Like, do they give candy? I was standing on the seaside walkway with a bunch of other people watching the sunset. A red orb came speeding down the coastline at like 50 to 150 meters altitude. Didn't think much of it until it instantly stopped and speeded back the way it came until it was out of sight. No noise, too low for a plane or helicopter, and wasn't a flare because it was flying fast. Stopped instantly and then flew back the way it came. Several people saw it, but this was before mobile phones with cameras were a mainstream thing. What? A UFO. Saw an orange light slowly come up over some trees behind my house and then take off straight up at a ridiculous speed. Stood there in silence, and so did he. Explained to him what I'd just seen, and he said he's just seen the exact same thing. He was over 100 miles away in Manchester at the time. What the heck, man? Like, why don't I see these kind of things? Like, I want to see cool things too, but then again, I don't go outside. True. I live outside city limits. There are very few houses near my home and many tall bushes and trees around the house. There is a small mountain at some distance. The nights are very quiet and there is no street lights, so after dark the only lights are the lights from my house and the moonlight. One night, while I was outside my house with a flashlight doing something, I realized there was only one of those trees. I looked around that tree with my flashlight, but there was no sign of the other tree, like it never existed. The next day, I went there during daytime to see exactly what happened to the other tree, and they both both were there just like I remembered. I looked around them and even climbed on them to see anything strange, but nothing was out of ordinary. What happened? Did they spawn in like the wrong map or something? One night, years after high school and I'd gotten married, I had a vivid and very sad dream about the first boyfriend I ever really loved. We were 15 and 16, broke up about 3 years because he really got into drugs. I had this dream maybe 9 years after that. I dreamed I was walking down a crowded sidewalk in some big city and I bumped into him going the direction I just came from. He was crying and he asked me for help. I can't remember if the dream changed then or I woke up, but it was just that little snippet of seeing his face. It was so clear. I still remember how his beautiful blue eyes looked. I don't know why I waited a couple more years to call his mother and ask about him one day when I recalled that dream for some reason, but I did call her. It turns out he had died in a freak accident around the time I had that dream. He had a car in his garage that he was working on. He had climbed on the hood for some reason to do something, and he fell, broke his neck, and it was fatal. Now I'm always sad and a little creeped out every time I think of that dream. Probably always will be. Wow. So I do feel like sometimes you're just connected with someone. Like, just connected like that. Where if something happens to them, you can feel it. Stories like these are always the saddest because you know that they're not together, not because they don't love each other anymore, but because it's just the best for them to not be together. In college, my girlfriend at the time had a nightmare that a pet iguana at home with her father had frozen to death after being left outside. She woke up sobbing and that woke me up. I calmed her down and told her it was just a dream. We both eventually got back to sleep. The next morning, her father called to say that her pet iguana had been left outside overnight and had frozen to death. This wasn't a recurring dream or worry for her. This was the only time it happened. Neither of us can explain the events without the aid of religion or in a 1 trillion coincidence. That's crazy. See, there's something up with the universe, man. We're just in a simulation right now. Like, maybe something's watching us. And we're doing all this because they're making us do it, but we just don't realize it, you know? You know how some movies are like that? Where they don't realize they're in a show and someone's watching them. Oh my gosh, that's creepy. As a kid, on rainy days, I would grab my umbrella and jacket and play around in the rain, collecting raindrops. When I was about 11, I was playing outside in my front yard one day. I decided to go into the sidewalk to catch a bit more rain. I then looked onto the street. It was a foggy, rainy day, but I could have sworn I saw someone who looked exactly like me. Me being a kid, I panicked, ran inside for the rest of the rain, but I was still an idiot, so I never really told anyone, because I thought they wouldn't believe me. What the heck? They saw their doppelganger? Bro. This reminds me of the movie Us, where, you know, they have a doppelganger, right? I mean, like, if you already watched that movie, damn! Crazy. I heard that it was bad to see your doppelganger though, like, it's like a superstition, where if you see a doppelganger, it's not a good thing, because they might be trying to take over your life. I mean, only if they look exactly like you, right? That is creepy. Man, I don't know what I would do if I saw my doppelganger. I don't know, I'd just be like, why are you so ugly? Why are you dressed like that outside? I, 13 at the time, was about to go to bed. I was brushing my teeth in front of my bedroom window, staring into the dark, when I suddenly heard someone screaming outside. I stopped brushing so I could hear it better. Someone was screaming out my name. I sort of froze and kept listening. More voices joined, all screaming my name and laughing loudly. It was kind of like an audience at a sports game. It went on for about 5 minutes. When it stopped, I, in shock, went downstairs to my parents to ask them if they'd heard anything. It was impossible not to hear as it was very loud. They had not heard anything. I assume it was some sort of hallucination. Still feel weird when I'm alone in my room late at night. Wow. I was going to say the same. Must be a hallucination, right? How does it sound like? I mean, as long as it's not creepy, right? Then I feel kind of good. Then I'd be like, oh my god, I'm so popular. As long as it's not like, as long as it's like, Ellen, then I'd be happy. I'd be like, oh, cute. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.